welcome back to the Independent Investor Channel. This is going to be an M1 Finance portfolio tutorial. I'm going to teach you how to take any amount of money. This is going to be geared toward a larger portfolio build out up over six figures. So 100,000, 250,000, $500,000 and above. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to take a structure or a backbone in a portfolio and fill that to your liking? I'm going to walk you through an M1 Finance portfolio that is going to enlighten a lot of investors to know how to structure the framework of a portfolio and then suit that to your liking. A lot of people will do how to invest $1,000, how to invest $5,000, $10,000, and they'll say invest in these 5 stocks and these 2 ETFs. Invest in these 20 stocks and this one ETF. I'm not looking to do that here. I'm looking to put a backbone and structure in place for you guys that can account for any portfolio build out that we need and be able to use the power of the M1 Finance platform to really structure a portfolio and align that to the investor profile and the allocation that is desired. Guys, without further ado, I drop you into the account and we'll begin the build out.
All right, super cool. This is going to be a tutorial on M1 Finance. This is going to help a ton of people out there who have jumped into M1 Finance and have been stifled by this very thing. M1 Finance is a little bit fickle. It's very easy once you get to know the platform a little bit, and I'm talking specifically in the My Pies category here. It's under the Research tab. In the very top here, I'm going to walk you through portfolio building in less than 10 minutes. This is going to help anybody out there who has struggled with portfolio building within M1 Finance. The specific example that I'm going to use in this video is building a portfolio over $100,000. Now, very, very simple in my mind to approach this, and it's a big undertaking for sure. But with M1 Finance, it's made it super, super easy to do. Now, for a lot of investors, there's 2 different schools of thought. Most of them are going to want to either invest in ETFs, whether totally exclusively in the portfolio and or have a mix of single stock. Now, there are 11 sectors in the S&P 500. So, what can we do in M1 Finance to help break down this information? What we're going to want to do is we're going to establish a framework or a backbone or a foundation of a portfolio using the Create Pie function within M1 Finance, okay? This is going to be super useful for you guys to understand. It's going to allow you to take the opportunity in M1 Finance, and it's going to help you build out a portfolio to capture any amount of money. So super, super important that you stick around for this entire tutorial. After this, if you do have an existing account with M1 Finance, you're going to be extremely happy with this tutorial and understanding how we build out and use the slices to build out an entire pie within M1 Finance, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of scroll through my list here and I'm going to show you a couple things. What I've found is sharing information for a single spouse is very, very simple. It gets a little bit more complicated when we want to take and build a portfolio for a husband and a spouse. That gets a little bit more tricky when I'm looking to build 2 portfolios and share that information, because the structure of each portfolio, the backbone, in other words, or the foundation, is going to be exactly the same. What I mean by that is staples in a Roth IRA number 2 is going to be staples Roth IRA number 1 in the other portfolio. There's a reason why we do this. I can't just have a generic staples slice within M1 Finance, because if I use this in both portfolios, it's going to amend the second portfolio to reflect the first slice. So what ends up happening is you have to end up using specific sectors for each of the portfolios that you're building. So you'll find in my list here that I've got Energy 2 here, and that would be for portfolio number 2. And then as I scroll down the list, I would use the backbone and structure for, let's say, energy number 1 in portfolio number 1. So very, very important to understand how I build these portfolios out so as not to confuse the two portfolios or overlap, or when I add the slice in there, it's going to add it in the manner that I want. It's going to be individual, because two portfolios built with exposure to the energy sector is going to have different holdings within that slice. So I need to make the slices independent in the unused slices category before I go about doing that. So what I'm going to end up doing is creating a new pie. I'm just going to walk you through this tutorial real quick, and we're going to use Apple computers just as a placeholder for the technologies, right? So we're going to add this to the basket. For you guys that have got this far on M1 Finance, you're going to be able to stay with me quite easily. And we're going to edit this, and we're going to name this technology, okay? And you want to make sure that your labeling of this is very, very simple to follow, and you use the same structure every time. So I'm going to call this technology YouTube. Okay, that'll differentiate this for the tutorial, and we can use it later. We're going to hit save, and it's done. The slice is going to show up in my pie. You can come back here and look at it. Technology, YouTube. There it is. Now there's 11 sectors in the S&P 500. So we're going to go through this same exercise, create a pie, and we're going to use 3M as the placeholder for the industrials. We're going to add to basket, boom, and we're going to add. All right. Very good. And we're going to click edit. And we're going to do the exact same thing. And just call me a stickler when I'm in industry. Yeah, I can't spell. Call me a stickler, but I'm very, very adamant about making sure that these tags remain the same. And there's a very, very simple reason as to why I do that. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to show you why. When I go in here to the pies and I'm looking to add these slices, these are unused slices in M1 Finance, and eventually I'm going to have 11 of these for the 11 sectors. Now each of these slices can be amended. Right now this slice for industry has 3M, if you remember, and technology has Apple already in it. But once I get this structure and backbone built in this portfolio, then I can go back in this and amend these how I want. Now remember, they're going to have to be specific to the portfolio that I'm working on. I'm not going to be able to build this for spouse 2 or spouse number 1 and use this same technology slice in the second portfolio. I'm going to have to actually use technology YouTube number 2. That's how I would tackle that problem in M1 Finance, and you're going to see why here in just a second. Let's go ahead and create one more just for fun. We are going to use Duke Energy, and creating portfolios is freaking fun. That's the way we roll. We add it to the actual slice that we're looking to build here. Remember, we're going to edit and we're going to name it. And remember, I'm super, if I could spell, it would be awesome. Utilities, okay? And we're going to do this as YouTube, okay? And we're going to hit save at the top right-hand corner. Boom, it's going to save. All right, there it is in my pies. Boom, we've got util again. I can't spell. Unbelievable. Okay, so I screwed up. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to edit it. Utilities. Very good. Now we're good. All right, super cool. Now you know how to correct a spelling error on the utilities. Very good. We're good now. So we have these 3 slices here. This is going to cover the single stocks. So I'm going to build these out times 11, and we're going to have all 11 of the sectors within this unused slices category. Now, for a lot of people, they want a blend between passive, Vanguard, ETFs. So no problem. We're going to come in here and we're going to use VOO as our benchmark. You betcha. And if you're not having fun yet, I sure am. Build portfolio building. I've always said that this is the easy part to portfolio to investing. Portfolio building is freaking fun. It is fun. So we're going to add this to the basket. Okay, we're going to edit this slice, and we're going to take this garbage out, and we're going to put passive YouTube. All right, good. And that's going to capture all of our passive assets within M1 Finance. So now you're thinking, okay, what do we do here? We've got this $100,000 or $250,000 worth of portfolio to build here. What do we do now, Ryan? Well, this is going to be portfolio number 1, and you're going to want to duplicate this exact same exercise, the exact same way we did it here, but you're going to want to do technology, YouTube, for example, number 2. Because you're going to want these individual sectors to be exclusive to the portfolio that you're building. Okay, you're not going to be able to reuse these unused slices without affecting the first portfolio. So if you start saving within technology and putting a bunch of exclusive holdings into that portfolio, it's going to affect your first portfolio. So you're not going to be able to do this. This took me a long time to realize. I'm declaring it to you guys so you don't have to take a bunch of Advil before you figure it out, okay? Now, building out the first portfolio. Imagine that we have this built out. We have the passive, and we have, boom, the 11 sectors here. Now what we're going to do, this is where the magic happens. We are going to create new pie. Now this is where the magic happens. Instead of searching for a stock, or instead of selecting it from the results page, we are going to go back into My Pies. This is the critical step that a lot of people mess up on. We're going to go back to My Pies, and it's going to bring us into this menu, which is a little bit different. It is confusing for a lot of people. It confused the heck out of me. And this is where you go ahead and select your passive, select your utilities, select your industrial, select your technology, and you could continue to select all of these until you have your 11 individual stock offerings, and you've got your passive aspect here. You're going to want to add, okay? This is going to drop this into this $100,000 portfolio, right? You've got your 4 slices here, your 4 holdings, because we only put 1 in each of these. Remember, we put industry, we put 3M in passive, we put VOO, technology, Apple, and utilities, industry 3M, utilities, Duke Energy. So we're going to come in here now, and we're going to edit this, and we're going to call this total portfolio number 1. All right, so here we go. We've got this going here, and we're going to save this, and we're going to come in here, and here you go. Here is your total portfolio now. Now, if you forget something, no problem. All you have to do is click into this total portfolio, hit edit. It's going to bring you in here. This is where you can adjust your percentage of allocation, whatever you need to do. But if you need to add something in here, you can go ahead and click add and either add it here, or you can go back into My Pies and go down here and say, okay, well, I missed Staples. I'm going to go ahead and add Staples in there, add that to the portfolio. There it is. This is an easy way to just go ahead and throw the equalize in there, and that way it'll equalize your percentages, and you're off and running. Now you've got Staples in there, assuming that you forgot something. Maybe you want to do an ultra growth portfolio, right? We're not going to be living here. We're going to go back to the My Pies here, go down all the way to the bottom, and you're going to have, let me see if I can find an ultra growth. There it is, hyper growth. We're going to go ahead and select that, throw that into the portfolio. Since it's at 0, I'm lazy, so I want to select them all and equalize the portfolio. Boom. That throws an equal weighting into this portfolio. Then all I have to do is go into the portfolio itself. All right, we're going to go in here, back to My Pies, click on Total Portfolio. Then I'm going to go into, let's say, Hyper Growth, and I'm going to say, okay, I like Shopify, I like Spotify, I like Square, I like Tortoise Acquisition Group, soon to be Hyliion, I like Zoom Video. Fantastic. We are off and running. Guys, really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Couple takeaways here. Remember, Establish your individual sectors for your single stock exclusively in your unused pie category. If you're going to build another portfolio, you're going to have to double these efforts. Don't ever try to use the existing unused pie within M1 Finance. You're just going to end up scratching your head because it's going to override in the second portfolio what you just worked on in the first portfolio, okay? So this really does give an incredible opportunity to break down information. Remember, you can do the passive aspect and you can do the single stock aspect. I recommend that you break down each of the 11 sectors and then start building those out with the single stock. And then when you do want to finally come in here and customize this portfolio where you want to have the majority of your holdings in technology and maybe you don't want quite so much in utilities, you can go ahead and always be looking at that 100% optimization within this as you adjust your allocation, guys. So that's all I've got for you here for the tutorial. This will help you so much use this unused pie category in building out a final portfolio for a single person. But if you really paid attention, you'll understand how to use this page to build out multiple portfolios for a household. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the video, and we'll kick you back to YouTube.
All right, guys, so we've come out of the M1 Finance platform. This should really hit home for you. All right, there's a lot of single individuals that are asking for the opportunity for some awareness of what an individual portfolio would look like. But there's a lot of households out there with dual incomes or a spouse, two-spouse household, and they're both looking for portfolios. M1 Finance can be a little bit fickle, and in this video, I really hoped to drive home the point of building out the portfolio using the unused pie section. Very, very important. If you paid attention to this video, your portfolio skills have went through the roof. So guys, if it's your first time joining the message, you want to hit the subscribe button for me, leave your comments at the bottom of this video, and share the message with anybody out there that you know can benefit from this information using the information sharing technology within M1 Finance. Bring them onto the channel, man. We'll provide some transparency, testimonial on the power of the sharing of information. It's never been a better time to be an investor, and M1 Finance makes that even easier. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the message. Good luck in your investment future.